Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're stepping right into an incredibly vibrant, animated world to explore a topic that affects, well, absolutely every single one of us. We're taking the brilliant insights from Rick Hanson's book, Resilient, and we're actually going to experience it as a true hero's journey. Seriously, think of yourself as the main character in a beautifully drawn cartoon adventure right now. In this Explainer, we aren't just reading off facts. We are going to actively level up your mental fortitude, equipping you with the ultimate toolkit to navigate a pretty chaotic world. So you ready?
Okay, let's dive into this. Because, every great hero needs a villain, right? But in our cartoon world, the ultimate villain isn't like a fire-breathing dragon or some evil wizard. The villain is simply the inherent unpredictability of life itself. The source material makes a really profound point right off the bat here. Life throws curveballs, especially when you don't know who to trust. Sometimes you literally can't trust other people, and let's be honest, sometimes you can't even trust yourself when you're overwhelmed. But the one thing you absolutely must be able to count on to defeat this villain, that's your own mental fortitude.
So what does this all mean? How exactly do we build that mental fortress? And maybe more importantly, how can a zebra, yes, an actual zebra, help you conquer your deepest anxieties? I want you to keep that sharp question in the back of your mind as we jump straight into our animated adventure. We're going to unlock some really surprising animal wisdom along the way. But first, we need to gather our base stats.
Level 1. The Power of Resilience. So, as the hero of this story, this is where your mental training truly begins. You're stepping onto the training grounds, and it's time to forge the very first tool you're going to need for the epic quests ahead. That ultimate superpower toolkit? It's resilience. According to the book, resilience isn't just one single thing. It's an entire inventory of qualities. It's your confidence, your determination, and your compassion all bundled together. This is the superpower that helps you push through difficult times, deal with overwhelming stress, and actually follow the pursuits your heart believes in. In a world full of chaotic, unpredictable obstacles, resilience is absolutely crucial for achieving true inner peace and mental well-being. And you know what the best part is? The book emphasizes that you already possess everything required to cultivate this power. You just have to learn how to use it.
The very first piece of gear you need to equip is the shield of self-compassion. Now, people often find it incredibly easy to feel compassion for others, right? But we really struggle to feel it for ourselves. The source material offers a great way to unlock this. Think about the warmth and care you feel when you're helping someone in need, like, say, a sick neighbor or a close relative. Got that feeling? Now take that exact same warmth and direct it right back at yourself. Equipping the shield stops you from taking damage from your own mind. It stops you from blaming yourself over every petty little issue. By doing this, you build the self-esteem required to make massive, ambitious moves in both your personal and professional life.
Level 2. Mindfulness from a zebra. All right, now that you have your shield, we're transitioning to the next stage of our journey. Here we meet our first animal guide. Look at the frantic human compared to the chilled-out zebra. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive difference between how we naturally operate and how we could operate. When humans face a minor setback, we get totally stressed out, and we hold on to the memory of that threat long after it's gone. But zebras? If you've ever watched them on television, they are incredibly peaceful. When a lion approaches, sure, they scatter to save their lives. But the absolute second they are safe, they immediately resume their peaceful routine, almost as if they have zero recollection of the threat they just barely survived. It's wild. So, mindfulness is really about channeling your inner zebra. It means being present and aware in the moment, regulating your attention, and just observing what's going on in your mind without judging it or frantically trying to change it. Just observe and let the lion pass.
Level 3. Unlearning helplessness with agency.
But what happens when you feel totally trapped? In this stage, we have to navigate a very dangerous environmental hazard called the helplessness trap. This is a dark, heavy feeling of powerlessness in the face of challenges. And unfortunately, the book notes that this feeling is engraved into a majority of us due to tough past circumstances, things like being bullied or growing up with overly controlling parents. But here's the good news. Just as helplessness is a learned condition, it can be entirely unlearned. The exact antidote to the helplessness trap is the sword of agency. If you've ever wondered what it would feel like to be the complete master of your own life, well, it starts with true grit, and grit requires a profound sense of agency. Agency means that you are the one causing things to happen rather than just being led helplessly along without your will.
Let's move to and see how this builds in your actual day-to-day life by stacking small, active wins. It really doesn't have to be massive. Take step 1, for example. Simply choosing to wear a blue shirt instead of the red one suggested by your spouse. That right there is a flex of your agency. Step 2, choosing to be active instead of passive by putting your argument forward in a corporate meeting. Step 3, deciding entirely on your own to do just one extra repetition in the gym. By actively exercising your will in these small moments, you completely shatter the illusion of helplessness.
Level 4, building confidence and gratitude.
With your shield of self-compassion and your sword of agency equipped, you are becoming a formidable hero. It's time to buff your stats even further with some daily quests. We're going to use the simplest daily pleasures to dramatically boost your confidence and your optimism. First, make gratitude a regular part of your day by journaling everything you felt thankful for. Seriously, feeling thankful actually makes you more optimistic and less depressed. Next, to grow your confidence, recall specific moments where you felt truly cared for. It could be by another human, but fascinatingly, the book notes that recalling moments of being cared for by a pet works beautifully too. When you experience this feeling of being cared for on a regular basis, you make yourself a person worth caring about in your own eyes. And that inner worthiness, that's the absolute foundation of unbreakable confidence.
Level 5. Taming the Anxiety Monster.
But heroes beware. As your confidence grows, so does the shadow of the anxiety monster. You see, it's our natural tendency to constantly overestimate threats and drastically underestimate our own capabilities to deal with them. This creates a looming, terrifying anxiety monster in our minds, causing us to spend our days freaking out over totally unrealistic outcomes that aren't even distant possibilities in the real world. But beating this monster is surprisingly easy, and it all comes down to a simple cheat code: 3 and 6. Okay, I want you to slow down with me for just a moment here. Notice your breathing. To shrink that minor anxiety instantly, you literally just need to control your breath. Try inhaling deeply for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And now, exhale slowly for 6 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Something as trivial as slowing down your breath takes away the anxiety monster's power completely.
Level 6. Chasing your biggest dreams.
You've mastered your breathing, equipped your gear, unlearned helplessness, and built your resilience. You have finally arrived at the final stage. This level is all about the mechanics of motivation. It's time to finally pursue the passions that your heart truly believes in. So the crucial point is understanding exactly how to fuel your motivation safely. The book highlights a massive dichotomy between wanting and liking. When you're merely wanting things, you're desperately pursuing an object of gratification. This borders on compulsion, and compulsion often drives people to fill a gap with negative stuff. The author even uses the example of drugs. It's a never-ending, fearful loop. But liking, that creates a completely different path for our hero. When you like something, you find joy in the experience itself. It's a pleasant feeling, and you aren't terrified of it ending, so you don't aggressively hold on to it. True motivation requires you to desire well, focusing on the joy of the journey rather than the compulsion of the reward.
Which brings us to the final boss, the fear of rejection and judgment. As a kid, you probably dreamt of being an astronaut, or maybe a movie star, right? But as you grew up and faced the sting of rejection, fear took root. That fear is what makes you hold back from fully participating in that corporate meeting today, terrified of being judged. The only way to defeat this final boss is to clearly realize your fears and conquer them by logically weighing the actual risks against the incredible benefits. When you finally get those fears under control, the chains break and you can take real steps toward the life you've always wanted.
You've journeyed through the levels. You've equipped the shield of self-compassion, wielded the sword of agency, learned the peaceful ways of the zebra, and defeated the anxiety monster. You've officially leveled up your mental fortitude. So I want to leave you with this final powerful question. Now that you've unlocked these superpowers, now that you are truly resilient, what dream will you finally chase?